I am back. I'm back for a second video. It feels like there's some stakes in this one because last time nobody was on my channel and now there's a few. So I really hope that you enjoy this. I'm gonna paint from scratch. Well, almost from scratch. This is what we did last time. I've actually already done my lineup because I kind of forgot that I'm supposed to show everything, or that I wanted to show everything. So I forgot that I'm supposed to film. So forgive me that for this time, please. But this is what we're gonna paint. I watched K-pop Demon Hunters. I am definitely not the target audience for that, but my goodness me. I was watching Sam Does Arts and he's just brilliant anyway. But he said, go watch it. It's really great. The art style is superb and the storyline is great. And he didn't give anything away, which was a little bit cheeky of him. I mean, I'd seen it on the Netflix page and completely ignored it, I suppose. I do watch some anime, but this one, K-pop Demon Hunters, it was like, no thanks. But I watched it on Sam Does Art's recommendation, purely for the art, obviously. And now the soundtrack is on my Spotify list. I'm listening to it non-stop and I loved it. And this particular scene where the demon tiger and the three-eyed raven go down or come up through the floor and he's looking at the pot that he keeps knocking over. I thought it was so funny and really, really cute. So I'm not going to talk about the movie. I think you should go see it. If you're into art and if you like great characterization and a really quite a deep story with really good music, highly recommend it. But don't take my word for it. Sam Does Arts. Go watch him and see his review. So this is what I have drawn in my sketchbook. I've made it only about this big. Can you just about see that? Yeah, just about, because I didn't want to paint the whole thing. I think it would have fitted if I'd have just copied it straight. Yeah, it would have done, but that was too big. I just want something a little bit smaller. So that's what I want to paint, and I want to use this stuff. So to get the reflection off. There we go. So acrylic gouache. These are Holbein acrylic gouache. I think most gouache artists will have some of these. These are the acrylic version, not the regular version. So once they're dry, they don't tend to reactivate. And we're having quite a heat wave here in the UK at the moment. Let me just move that a second. So I am going to need to use my Stay Wet palette. So this one is by Redgrass Games. I don't know why it's games. I think it might be a minifig painting company. I really don't know, but basically it's like this, I can't think of the word, sealed. Once it's closed, it's sealed, which means that you can keep your paints wet in it overnight. But to be honest, my paintings are usually done in one sitting. And then there's this, I'm going to call it a biscuit, but it's not actually supposed to be a little biscuit. I just haven't used it for a while, so it's completely dry. So I have to go and wet that, and then there's some papers that sit over the top. So I'll be using that to help me in this, 29-degree heat. It is pretty melty. So that's what I'll be using. And I've got a selection because I can never just stick to one paintbrush. I don't know what I want until I start. So I've got a selection of paintbrushes here. Mostly they're the graduates. There's a Pro Art one, Daler Rowney ones, and some Zen Art ones. I've not actually used the Zen Art ones. They feel quite firm, so we shall have to wait and see what I need. They might actually be a bit too big for what I'm planning here. Okay, so that's that. I've got another one here. Oh, this is a new one. This is a graduate. It's a really long one. I don't know why I bought that. I think it was just the size was the only one. I just couldn't see any short ones. That was a ramble. What else have I got? I'm going to need to put some washi tape around the outside because I don't want to have to worry too much about that. And I've got to choose what colour I want. It's not going to make any real difference, but I think I might go with the orange or, oh no, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with this dark blue one. Let's put that on now whilst I'm thinking about it. Oh yeah, good choice. Actually, it's dark green, but that doesn't matter. And this is a double page spread, but it is one of the middle spreads, so it's got the string running through it, but they don't tend to show too much once you start painting. And I don't plan to sell this or anything because it will be completely just fan art, but I thought it might be nice to have a little fun painting session. It's probably going to take a few hours. That's that ready. And now I need to go and wet my palette and get all that sorted. So I shall be back in a moment and we can start painting. Okay, so that's now no longer a biscuit and it's wet and it's ready for the paper topping. So this is the paper topping I have. Everlasting Wet Palette Hydration Sheets. I think there might be a front and a back side to this, but I can never tell. So then I just give it a bit of a smoosh onto it. But I like to put a crease or two in it, because when you're working off these sheets, sometimes, you know, you're mixing your palette, you're mixing your paint there, and you need to kind of just take a little bit off, and it's very, very flat otherwise. So there's a little tip for you on that little bit of paper. Just put a little crease in, and that'll give you something to wipe a little bit of the paint off of. How am I going to do this? Let's look at that first. Probably, well, the best thing to do, I say probably, I know it is. The best thing to do is to work from the back, the furthest away, to the nearest to me. So the nearest to me being this guy, but also this guy and this guy. So everything else can be done first. So we'll do the background behind the tiger, which is very dark. And then I can add in some of these little things here. Do this, maybe. I'm definitely going to want to do that fairly early because it will take a few layers. And on my print, it was a very basic print just so I can show it to you, but it's not coming out with some of the details. So I've actually got my iPad, which has much better colour definition than this unsubstantial print. But I do need to work out what colours I'm going to use. So I'll get started in a minute. So let's have a look. Cerulean blue. I'll probably need a bit of black. The navy blue will be good for the deep dark black. Ultramarine there, not aquamarine. Oh, ooh, hello. There's a deep ultramarine there. Yeah, do you know what? I'm looking at that thinking that might be a really good one. So I'll get that out as well. Can't help myself. But yeah, I think if I add white to that, that's going to be good for some of those as well. I don't have any of the pastel shades really. So we'll come back and look at the eyes when I get to them. I think for now we just work with the blue backgrounds. One thing that I really don't know how to do particularly well is lay out my palette. I'm just going to plop a bunch of colours down and see how it goes. Do I need the cobalt? Maybe not. I'm going to get it out. Oh, that's a bit squishy. Oh yeah, see, that's quite a nice colour. I don't know how much I'm going to need. That'll do. Okay. Can you tell? I don't really want to start this. It's like, oh, come on. Okay, ready, go. I've forgotten to get my water. Hang on a minute. Okay, 2 pots of water. Where am I going to put them? This side, because I'm right-handed. And I'll move that there. So I need a dark blue. Let's have a look. That, and I'm going to use that beautiful. Yeah, I think that might be a good one. A little bit of water, thank you. I can always add a little black to that. Okay. That was bold. Straight in, and it's going to go to a lighter version of it here. So as we come through towards the tiger. This is not a tutorial by any means, it's just me having a paint in my sketchbook. Unedited, unfiltered, just for fun. Adding a little white in. Gonna need to add a lot more white in. I want to get some blends going while it's still a bit wet. There we go, look at that. Beautiful. Just add more white, blend it up whilst it's wet. So I haven't been painting for very long. I don't mean today, I mean ever. So forgive me if you're all cringing at my technique. I know it's not the best. Back and forwards. Just try and get those blends looking kind of sweet. I'm not using enough water. It would be a lot easier if I add in a whole bunch of water. And don't look at my palette because I have no palette management either. I definitely haven't got that very, very pale aqua colour, which is gonna bug me slightly. I might have to try and make it. So I find blending really hard. So I'm going over the edges a little bit because it's gonna be painted over anyway. Tried and tested dry brush technique. Yeah, I might need to get a little green in there. Well, not yet, but I want that at some point. Paley blue through here. And then I can go back to the darker versions. The blending takes me forever, but I do get there in the end. Just trying to keep working while it's a little bit wet, but it's very, very hot. So it's taking a little time. Sorry, it's not taking any time at all to dry out. Also, this is 100% cotton watercolour paper. So one thing it does do really well is soak up the paint. Does that look okay? Not bad, not bad. Got some green going on. I'm going to leave the crow's hat for now. While it's wet, come back with that one with the more of the ultramarine in, and then just kind of manipulate it a bit and pull it around. There's going to be some foliage and whatnot over the top, so we don't have to cover everything. What's going on down there? It's just a pale blue. Kind of that with a bit more white in. Maybe more white even. Yeah, that should do. Bit more water, blend that up, and then blend this in too. Yeah, that's all right. Before I move into this section, I just want to get a bit of green on the palette. See if I can make that more of an aqua colour. Maybe I'll try, I don't actually know, blue green. I think blue green's probably the right choice. And I might bring the emerald green in as well. Oops, oh heck. All right, where did my paintbrush go? So let's see what happens if I add in some of this. Oh, you clever girl. Did it. Straight first off. Could do have been a little bit more blue. So tiny bit more blue in there maybe. Definitely loads more white, but loads and loads and loads more white. That's the thing with gouache. You end up using so much white. There we go. See, now it's lost the green. I just want it to be a touch greener now. And do I even need to do this now? No, I don't. And we're not aiming for perfect here, we're just aiming for close enough. That's shocking, that line. It's really flanged that. Boo, 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 boo. There we go. That's not bad. It definitely needs to be whiter, and I'll add some more of that later. But whilst I'm here, I'm just going to put that on the other ear, and then I can work around, well, I can work into it and then go back over it. The most of it will then be done. Can we please remember, go in the fur direction. Clean your brush, back to the dark blue. Everything's quite nicely rounded, so let's give it a nice rounded edge. Make that go off there like that. I can always come in with more colour on top, and it's very, 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 very dark down there. Pretty much black actually, so if I mix in a bit more black and then blend up and around, what happens here? Oh, I covered over the, oh, never mind. And then that goes across like that. Right, up in these, try and keep some of the shapes that I need. This paintbrush might actually be a little bit soft. What's happening down here? It's just a whole bunch of twigs and such, so I'll make that up. Oh well, it looks like there's only like a couple now then. And then it's got to come across this way, but it's getting lighter as we come through here to get, I think it's going to dry. Yeah, it's going to dry a lot lighter, so I think I should be okay. Well, we'll see, won't we? I'm still using it too dry. It is drying out really fast. Try and keep the shapes right across the top. Yes, right across the top in that dark colour. And right up to his hat. Smudge that through. And then I need to add in a lot more of the deep ultramarine. And then start working that down as well. A bit more water in there, please. Thank you. And it's going to get a little lighter as we go further down towards the tiger. So I'll just soften that edge, and then so I've got to also put a kind of a tree thing in here. Put that in as well. I've already marked out some little shapes. Does not have to be exact. I'm saying that for my benefit. Smudgy with the dark one. That'll do. Wow, it's really drying fast. Just trying to get that transition to work. It doesn't have to be perfect, Helen, don't worry. You can always add in a bit more of the white later. Looks nice on camera. Yeah, it looks okay on camera. Smudgy. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. Sometimes my paintings come out looking kind of cool. Sometimes they don't. But I kind of want my channel... Oh, hark at me.
I want my channel to be this, and I want it to be that.
No, I want it to be real. I don't want to pretend that this is how I work or whatever, you know? So yeah, we may get the odd raspberry in terms of painting, but that's okay. And yeah, I can be a bit hard on myself. That's something I'm working on. So this is a plant pot, I think. That's a good colour for the rest of that, actually. Yeah, it's not a bad colour. Put these little doofries in. Trying to be too precious about how these underbits look. Carve in the detail when I paint around it, I think. Oh yeah, look at that. See how that looks way brighter when it's right up against the dark colour. So once I put some dark in around it, with a very small paintbrush now, probably should have waited. But never mind. This is how it goes, isn't it? Whilst I'm there, I might just do all of that, and then put the bullseye in a second, shading through there just so I know that that's where his armpit is. I'm still working there. Okay, good, I like it. Create some little leafy shapes here. That one's making its own shape. Bit of dark through here. Let's outline this slot. Getting too bogged down in the detail already, and I said I wouldn't, but while I'm here, a couple of these little shapes. Okay, so what does that look like? That looks like that shape, and then it's the shadow of something in front. Lovely. Just put a few little shapes in here, and that'll give that a little bit of definition, I suppose. I don't think it matters too much, again, whether I go over these little shapy bit. Up, up, up. That's better. Right, I'll wait for that bit to dry here. Yeah, that's not... Okay, I think what I need is some blue through here as well. So yes, it's green, but it's actually more bluey green. Do you know what? I probably had it right in the very, very beginning. Then that's going to disappear into the background, and so is that. Oh, it's not far off. It's just a little gaudy. Use my finger. Smudgy, smudgy. Oh, that's nice. I've decided I don't like this colour. There, that's better. So we'll leave that as it is right now. So I need to paint the hat, but I want to make sure I leave the edge very dark in there. It kind of disappears into the sky, really. And then under here, it's really dark as well. You can go round his eye, round his eye. That should be a bit smaller, that one. Do I feel comfortable doing that? Ooh, yeah, that's fine. And then round his eye. I think it's quite funny that I've got this really long paintbrush and I'm holding it really low down. Right up to the edge. Now there's a highlight on the bottom edge. Oh gosh. Blah. Okay, so I lost a little bit there, but he's done. Now I just need to do the underside of his hat. Blend out to this paler blue. So if I put those on the edges first and then smudge it all through, maybe? I think actually that's done it. Well, that's not bad, is it? Where should we go now? I need to carry on through here. As you can see, I'm very haphazard with this. But I think once the rest of it goes on, it will look fine. So I've got to create the edge of his ear. Right, there we go. See if I can make that look like a leaf, this one here. Yeah, kind of. And then all of this needs to be softened. So I'm going to use fairly watery mix and then come back in this location, getting some nice texture on that. It's lovely. Now I can start to see that that's gradiating, and then there's a lip suggests that, I think. And then this can go darker too. That really isn't far off. Some dots on there, but that is way bigger. And then the target. That'll give this a little bit of form if I get it right. Slowly does it. Oh, I'm not breathing. Yeah, that's not far. Not far. It's a bit small. Bring it out a little bit. And then I can put some of this right in that base to bring that wing forward. Okay, now what do we want to do? I need a drink. I think I'm going to come back in here right now, try and remember what paint I was using. So what next? The blue gives us a little highlight. This edge is dark. I need to smudge that up. That's getting there, isn't it? Put that in underneath. Try and get that right up to the edge. Tonal variation in through there, just dry brush that across. Nice. Smudgy, smudgy. I like to make use of my fingers. Get a nice smudgy blend. That's nice. Yeah, I'm alright with that. Brighter section here. Smudge. Define the edge of the pot. Smudge. You can actually see the shape of the pot now. Let's just use this as the undercolour. Gets dark around here. I quite like it, this sort of colour. It just needs that little extra green glow because the green glow is coming from this guy. Let's just use that to create some leafy bits. Very pale bit there, softer bit there, smudge. I'll tell you what I need to do is this little bit better. Straighten this edge. Yeah, that's a bit better. There's a little triangular-y shape there. Darker through here. Stop. But what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm just going to move this across because I'm going to put a clean sheet out. because we've got a lot more of this light aqua colour to try and make. Re-wet the spongy easily. There we go. Get my handprint in there. Lovely. I do need that little fold though, if you don't mind. Maybe put 2 in. Okay, so I've got some paint over here that I can transfer. So there's nothing on the bottom, so I'm just going to transfer some of this white as it's still a bit gloopy and wet, and it's got some viscous material appearing now, but that's all right. So this has already got some bluey green in, so it's very, very pale, that one. So it's not specifically completely white. Some of this, some of that maybe, a bunch of this, and some of that too, that darker blue, because we don't need a lot of that. So let's put some white in the middle. And we're going to have a go at making this pale aqua colour. So we know we want some blue, but we also want this green. I think I've got it. I think I've got it. I was using the wrong blue. Cerulean blue. That's these ones here. So much better, so much more punchy than trying to mix up that ultramarine. It was just wrong. So the cerulean blue with a tiny bit of emerald seems to get me to the right place, kind of. As close as I can get anyway. I'm just going to, there we go. So I'm going to use this blue that I just mixed here because I want to do these as a nice flat. More white needed through here. Blend that in and it will look kind of cool. Blending that through. I'm just kind of doing like a little kind of spiky fur texture really. There we go. That has a slightly more bluey tint to it. Oh, sorry, purpley tint. And then we can come in with some of that deep ultramarine and that'll give us a little variation through it. Keep it nice and dark because it's really deep. Give it more of that beautiful ultramarine. Oh. You can probably just kind of wiggle. That's okay, isn't it? So let's go in and do it. So I could just do like a base, a base coat. It's all one kind of colour through here. Yeah, it's drying a lot darker, so I'm going to I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm going to mix up some lighter version. Oh, so cool. Some more of those blues that are coming through. So if I just put some through, that will shine through. I can make those this colour too, actually. Variations in the tone, I think, is a good idea. And then just kind of keep going back and layering. Oh, and I actually got some of this as well. Because it's so hot, everything's drying far too quick. Help me to make my paint last a little longer. But oops, try and follow the direction of the fur. And as usual, I'm working all over the place wherever I see a need. Pull that down and push it up, create that furry texture. You can see how this is starting to look like fur. Put that in whilst I'm here. And this one up here. And that, and that. Now this is going back to a bit more of a bluey colour. Hairs down, push some hairs up, thin that out a little bit. I'm going to go over the top again with the darker. But it is starting to create that lovely furry texture, I think, don't you? Just gives the illusion of slightly darkening things down. Oh, not bad at all. More of a triangular shape here, I think. It's going to look so different once I get the eyes in. And then it's plain sailing from there, really. It's just a bit of blending through here and then putting that plant pot in. So yeah, all the difficult bits are currently underway. I'm definitely learning. I feel like I am generally in with painting, getting better with every painting I do. So yes, they do take me a while, but I love the fact that I'm improving. My knowledge of how to mix colours is pretty poor, and that's a big part of what I need to work on over this year. White blobs to put in here. This is just plain white. Watery green colour. And finally a little one here. Damn it. Next stage, smaller brush please. So let's put in the edges. Gently. Turn my page. I can't breathe. That in as well. So we've got to make a kind of a gradient. So let's go with the yellow. Very bright, just there. Next eye, start with the yellow. Orange and yellow. But it's mostly very red on this bit. And I need to blendy. I'm holding my breath a bit here. Very red right around that edge line. Looks really cool. Really cool, love it. Right, so what colour is that? That's a little kind of a nice little purpley colour. And then that needs a little swoop. And we're going to put loads of white through that centre section. A little bit here. And then soften that all out whilst it's still wet. Yeah, one's definitely a little bit too dark. I have a solution. Tiny brush, bright yellow. 3. I think I'll give the blues a little break for a minute and I'm going to paint this pot. And then it goes really dark under here, really deep dark. So now I have to work out, how do I do that blue? What colour blue is that? If I just put some blue on it, see what it looks like. Oh, that's interesting. It's not, yeah, it's not quite right, but it's not far off, is it? Give it some gentle persuading round the edges. And then a lot of this is all black too. So I'm just going to make some kind of funky shapes in here. Try and get it to look somewhat organic. So this is all the little negative spaces. Here and here. Use my fingers again. Okay, right, leave that to dry. And let's mix the green, I think. That didn't take too long. That's pretty much straight out of the tube. And it's also probably a little dark, but it's going to be fine for what we need it for, which is just to put in the shape, the general kind of body of the plants here. I'm leaving little spaces so that I can put the little centres in. Good, there we go. That's better. Next, some of that pale blue. Highlights and details can make a really big difference. That already looks way better than it did. That's probably enough because we've got that lovely purpley colour to go in. few little spots in here. One there, one there, one there, one there. Cool. Oh, that works really nice. Really nice. Okay, happy with that. I think I'd like to just go back over this colour because I'm still not happy with it. And I still think it needs to probably be a bit darker. I think that's the right thing to do. Yeah, that's a bit better. It's really subtle, I know, but I think the white had just desaturated it slightly too much for my liking. That is better. We're going to do a tricky bit now because we've got reflections to do under here. Also, I still haven't done all the white in there. I should probably do that first, don't you think? There we go. All right, ready? Let's go. Remember, this is just a base layer, so it's okay if it's a little bit wrong. A little bit wrong. Bit of water, that'll spread that out. Oops. There we go. Add a touch of yellow in through here and here. This crazy orange. Back in with the range of blues. Let's put some white in. We've got to get some of that green in as well. More blending required. Can you see it? It's so cool. I love it. It's slightly coming this way. I need to just bring a red across over here a little bit. And then back in with that lovely blue and there. Best way to do that is just pull like that. A couple of little marks here and there. And then, what have we got here? We've got splodge, splodge, and then kind of a few little random. I mucked it up. Horrible. Get the black. Go round. That's better. Pull that black in through that end. Fade it out. So I'm just creating a few little beams of light that are poking out from behind things. How does that look? It's not far off, is it? And then we want to come in around over on these, push them back a bit more. That'll make the purple stand out a bit too. I have a very small little thing left to do, and I'm going to try and do it without mucking it up. Orange, 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 red, red. Actually, that goes all the way, and that one too. That's enough. That now is finished. So all I really need to do is take off the tape and hope that all the edges are nice and crisp. Oh my god, it looks awesome. Yay! Let's sign it. Well, goodness me, that was brilliant. I think it came out really nice. I think mine is better than that one. I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled with it. I think it really pops off the page, and what more can I say? If you came along with me on this epic painting journey, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I still don't know how to sign off, so bye!